Attention all gangbangers, please listen to this message. Y'all are our last fucking hope. And now I know you're gonna see this video and think, how the fuck can you possibly believe that gangs and gangbangers are the solution to what's going on in society? Now let me explain how gangs and gangbangers are the solution to what's going on in society. A long time ago, when gangs were first started, when there were chiefs and there was structure in the gangs and it was order, it was nowhere near. Now, I will admit, it was a lot of violence going on at the time, but it wasn't this disorganized, it wasn't this disorderly, and it wasn't nearly as many children dying, nearly as many, if any, children dying. And I understand that that's no exception, and that's not okay either, but think about it. Name me one country, one state, one city, one anything that has somewhere that has no fucking killing ever. Everywhere has some trouble, everywhere has some problems, and it just so happens that America and certain cities in America just have to be surrounded with the shit, and it just happens way more often in America and in certain cities in America. Now, I live in Chicago, born and raised in Chicago. Not only do I just live in Chicago, I've been around the streets and I've been around all of the street shit, so I know pretty much everything. But long time ago, when Larry Hoover and King David Barksdale were in charge of the Black Gangster Disciples, and when Jeff Ford was in charge of the Moles, and when Willie Lord was in charge of the Vice Lords, and when there was structure and order in the gangs, yes, there was still killing going on. It was still bad on the streets, but at least it was organized, and at least it was on a set target. And you know what else? The reason they took them off the block, the reason they got them off the streets has nothing to do with how dangerous they were. If anything, they used their speaking. That was the one thing about most of the gang leaders. They had political ambition. They used their voice more than a gun. Larry Hoover said it himself, why carry a gun when you can carry a briefcase? Gangster, why carry a gun when you can carry a briefcase? Why fight with a gun when you can fight with your tongue? Your voice is the most powerful weapon you have because you can make yourself known. Now, I digress. When it first started, it was structure. The police would not be able to do what they are doing to blacks, and I'm not just saying this as in blacks are the only ones who are oppressed. I mean, yes, the Black Lives Matter campaign is the campaign right now, but it's more than just blacks are the ones that are oppressed. I'm talking about Mexicans and every other minority group. We are all oppressed. So, with that being said, the police would not be able to do what they are doing right now to any of us if the gang leaders were still around and if the gang still had structure. But nowadays, you motherfuckers are afraid of the police, and like really afraid, and you act like the police are some superhuman or something, like they're not people. Not only are they just people, it's way more of us than it is of them, and you guys just stand around and watch them brutally beat, choke, and murder your fellow brother, sister, or whoever right in front of your face, and all you do is stand on the sideline with a video camera out and record it so you can post it online. But by that time, the damage is already done. A life has already been lost. Yeah, it'll get noticed, but what the fuck is gonna happen? As you can see, with the hundreds of times we have shown them videos of police brutality on minorities, they never do shit about it. No one never gets punished for it. So obviously they don't give a fuck. I think it's about time we stop standing on the sideline with a fucking camera phone and recording the police brutality, and we start interfering and stopping this shit from ever happening before the damage is even done. Posting videos online is not helping. It's not gonna stop the grieving families, and it's not gonna stop the person from losing their life. And these cops, judges, DAs, none of them give a fuck about what we have to say. They're laughing at us while we're marching. They're laughing at us while we're protesting. They're laughing at us while we're talking. And I'm sick of this shit, and it makes me sick. I watched a video today where the NYPD strangled a man so bad his eyes popped out of his head. That shit is sick to me. Like, how can you even come to want to do that to another person? And I know you're going to say, but blacks kill each other all the time. I understand. And I'm not taking any grief or any heat away from that. Blacks, we need to focus on ourselves as well, because we kill ourselves more than anyone else. And I understand that. And that's fucked up. We have a fucked up mentality with that. But let's not act like blacks are the only ones who kill either. And let's not act like the police do not have a fucking personal vendetta against a certain race. So let's not act like blacks are just trying to play the oppressed role and police aren't really out to get us, because if they weren't, then this shit that's going on would not be happening. Every time you're a black person and you're riding around a certain neighborhood, you're bound to get stopped by the police for no fucking reason, just for the color of your skin. So with that being said, all I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that gangs are our only hope, because someone has to fight back against the police. And back in the day, the police would not be able to do this. If the cops had did what they have did to Eric Garner back in the day, when Larry Hoover was chief, or when Jeff Ford was chief, and when they were out on the streets and the gang had structure, okay, if they didn't want to serve justice to that officer in the courtroom, justice would have got served on the streets, and you can best believe that shit. Like, and that's real, and that's why they needed to take them off the streets, because they had so much power within their communities. They could have gathered their whole communities to rally against the police, and they know it's more of them than it is police, and they didn't want that. They knew Jeff Ford, Larry Hoover, and King David Barksdale were the only few three men to have more fucking power than their own fucking government. And the American government is such a fucking bully and so fucking power hungry, they can't fucking stand the fact of someone having more power than them, which probably explains why we have the largest fucking military in the world when we're only home to 5% of the population. But I tell you this, power is in numbers. I can guarantee you that. Power is in fucking numbers. And Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, and David Barksdale had the numbers. Not to mention Willie Lloyd and every other gang. I keep mentioning the main three because them are the main three most famous. Now, I'm not taking anything away from any other gang. Everyone I feel like needs to unite, because it is the only way we will break this whole cycle of police brutality on all minorities. Not just blacks, all minorities. Blacks especially, but all minorities. And we need to stop this shit. And I feel like it has been proven to us that the shit is not going to stop. It's never going to stop as long as we just sit here with a video camera and just record the shit. Every time an officer is abusing one of our own, it's obviously never going to stop. And it's never going to work out in the courtroom, because the officers never get punished for what they do. For some reason, they're always found it to be defending themselves. So how about, instead of courtroom justice, we serve a little bit of fucking street justice, which is just what Larry Hoover would have done, just what Jeff Ford would have done, and just what the Chiefs would have done. If it was order and organization on the streets nowadays, we would not be going through this shit. But the young gangbangers don't know shit but kill their own kind, kill their own brother, then run from the police because you're afraid of them. And that's not what Larry Hoover taught. That's not what anyone taught. You a gangster, right? Or what up? What up, gangster? What up, Mo? What you is? You a lord? It doesn't really fucking matter. That's not what your leader taught. And your leader will be fucking ashamed of you right now, no matter what you is. What up, cuz? What up, blood? It doesn't matter. Your leader will be fucking ashamed of you. You kill one of your own and then run from these white motherfuckers when they show up. And no racist intention, but most of the motherfucking cops that's killing blacks just so happen to be white. So, oops, my bad. It just so happened to add up like that. That's my message to all gangs. I feel like y'all are our only hope. I don't know if anybody else feel like this. Y'all might think I'm crazy or stupid, retarded, whatever the fuck you want to think for making this video, but think about it. It just makes sense like that. Why else would they take Jeff Ford, Larry Hoover, and all them off the streets? Why was it that much of an urgent need to cut off all their communication from the streets? Because they know they had power. Power in their words and power in their community and power in numbers. They hate that.